Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Maui Hot List Hulahan here for Wednesday's episode with Johnny Brath. I'm Daniel Rude, your
You.
co-host. We're trying something a little new today, experimenting with some software, give you a little bit better look. We don't know if it's going to be good, so feel free to give us any feedback. But Johnny, what's up? What's going on in your world?
Yeah, well, let's just be honest with them. I'm not going to be doing any of this cool tech stuff. That's all going to be you. I'm so grateful that you want to make it look cooler. And so I like that there's a little evolution going on here with our little niche down podcast, I guess, about the hot list on Maui real estate, man.
There it is. Probably safe to say no more solo episodes from Johnny.
Yeah.
He's like,
Well,
wait,
if
how
they
do I
do, they're
figure
going to
this
be
out?
No, they'll be back to the old format. So that's when Danny's on vacation or doing something fun, is when it reverts back to caveman days.
Going old school on them. Throwback.
That's it. And guys, stick around. We're going to have a little bonus episode coming out here later today or maybe tomorrow as well, but we'll definitely be doing it today. Meeting one of our lender partners, specifically going to be focusing on what does it take to get a condo on Maui financed these days. So I'm excited to jump into that because I'm still trying to figure it out, dude. Whew.
It's complicated and messy, and sometimes even when you figure it out, it doesn't make sense still.
Yep. And you can tell your client that, dude, you're going to have to pay some points to get this done, and the rate's going to be a little bit higher. But if financing's important to you, this is how we can get it done. They just don't listen to you. They go, they go and try to get a loan from, their friendly neighborhood bank at home, and then they come back and cancel last minute for some weird reason. So yeah, we'll talk about that as well. I think that'll be
There's
good
all
stuff,
kinds of
man. I'm excited.
opportunities, all kinds of complications when it comes to lending in Hawaii. And we're kind of beating down some of the myth a little bit that it only can be a mainland, only a Hawaii lender. We've had some experience where recently there has been some better quality service, some better lending practices from someone based on the mainland. So it's all kind of interesting and sort of makes you realize like sometimes maybe there's a few things on Maui that haven't been challenged by outside voices.
Well, sometimes we get stuck in the community, right? And we're just used to the same old, and this is how we do it. And then somebody that's completely ignorant of our own traditions and how we do things just comes in sometimes and breaks stuff and it's like, oh, hey, we could do it this way.
And
And
you're
I
like,
like
whoa.
that. Yeah.
Especially
So
when it makes
that's
it
why
better
I'm,
for the client, better for everyone involved, smoother, quicker, faster. I mean, that's with our
I'm,
lender partner today, right? He kind of came in and he's on Oahu, but he sort of showed us how to do some things on Maui that has been beneficial.
yeah, man. So I'm pumped to be able to share that with everybody a little bit later today. With that being said, should we jump in here, Danny? You're gonna have to man the ship here with
Let's
this
try it out.
new
Let's see how this
format.
thing goes. It's
Let's
gonna be
do it.
fun.
Let's fly it. Let's
Bear with
go.
us, gang. This is gonna be an
Yes.
interesting one. All right, I think you can
Oh,
see
okay.
my
So we're up on
screen.
the top there.
All
Yep.
right, up on the top or on the side, depending on how you're looking at it. Mine is on the side, but let's try this out.
Okay, good. Oh, there it is. That's the one, Danny.
Hey, guys. We just like, honey, I shrunk us.
I love it though. It makes the screen in the back. Now people can actually read what I'm blathering on about. Let's start it off with the first one
Yeah,
there. Kaanapali
if they
Shores,
want
man.
to. All right. So
Ugh,
I'm
let's
controlling the ship
go.
today, so let me know what you want to look at.
All right. So, Danny, let's start out here. 146 days in. Started this listing at 8:35. Kaanapali Shores, guys, is absolutely hotel zoned. If ever there was an example of a condotel, I would say Kaanapali Shores is it. It's managed by a large Hawaii hotelier and property manager, Aston. Um, Tons of amenities in there. However, it is hotel zoned. condominiums that you can own for your very own. I take that back. There's a smattering of leasehold left in there as well. So 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 1717 square feet. That's generous for a 1 bedroom here on Maui, in my opinion.
It is.
1893 for the fees, man. You just cannot get away from them. One thing you should know with the 1893 for maintenance fees, though, it includes the whole kit and caboodle, including electricity. So that is all included there. 750. This one looks like, Danny, it's on the side of the building where Papa Kea is right next door, and then you've got the little bit of a parking lot that it runs along. That's what it looks like
Sure
here.
does. But there's that hotel vibe for you. Feels like a hotel, eh?
Yep. There you go, guys. That's sure it.
Right on
So
750,
let's go on.
not a bad price. It seems to be a little bit more into the affordability range on this. What do you think?
It kind of feels like this is where the hotel zone 1 bedrooms are starting to congregate in terms of price range space. Keheakahi pops up in my mind, some of those South Shore ones that are hotel zoned as well. So it does feel like this is where maybe the market's gonna start from for hotel zone. We'll see though, man. Start at
Yeah, now
835, right?
let's talk real quick. So maybe a comparable property up in Kahana, Royal Kahana, also got a bit of the hotel vibes. Those have been kind of dropping more into that low six range for a 1 bedroom, a little bit bigger square footage. I mean, Johnny, when you're comparing like a Royal Kahana versus a Kaanapali Shores, like how do you feel in terms of kind of the value, the prestige, the location? I mean, is something in Kaanapali better than something in Kahana when it comes to
Well,
value?
yeah. So for me, now we're talking about Kahana Bay Restoration Project, right? So
Yes.
Kahana Bay complexes, let's start them out at Sansa Kahana, Valley Isle Resort as we head north, Royal Kahana right next to that, Hololani, all hotel zoned. That's what you want nowadays if you're in the market for a vacation rentable condo here on Maui. And that has to do with the chaos from the mayor's intentions with something called a Minatoya list. Definitely check out some of our past episodes. We talk about it exclusively. So Kahana Bay Restoration Project, all of those complexes that I mentioned, fortunately dealing with sea level rise. You go to the beaches there and you're seeing giant sandbags to retain what beach is left there. You can look it up online, Kahana Bay Restoration Project. I mean, it's a big project where they're talking about involving this, maybe the Army Corps of Civil Engineers, FEMA may get involved. What's happening is that you can call it climate change, call it whatever you will. We're dealing with sea level rise here in some parts of Maui. And what has happened is that the sand from the beach is actually just sitting offshore. And so what the plan is there is maybe potentially pumping some of the sand a la Australia, what they do in the
Hmm.
Gold Coast, right? There's also discussions of creating these little T groins. When I think of T groins, as I fly into Honolulu Airport, coming over the military base, that oceanfront area there, you can see some of these little T groins. And allegedly, they're a little bit better than your seawall. People don't like seawalls on Maui. Native Hawaiians don't, because what it does is just causes the problem to be pushed down to the next complex. So it really isn't great for, I'll call it the environment, but for the entire community of different resorts that are along the coast there. So long-winded answer, Danny, but that's my thing there. Risk of Kahana Bay Restoration Project, what that looks like for cost of owners involved compared to Kaanapali Shores, it just doesn't have that to deal with right now.
And
So
overall,
we're
would you
here to
say
represent.
there's a little more
Yeah.
prestige in Kaanapali versus Kahana, just a bit more well known, yeah, with Kaanapali Beach and Whalers Village, that kind of thing. Do you think that
Yeah, I
gives
mean,
it
so
a leg up?
Kaanapali Shores is in Honokawai technically, but there is a
Yes.
lot of stuff that's going on around it. I would say that this is a more busy area than Kahana, Royal Kahana, all those other complexes. Um, Big food trucks here, walk to Duke's, get down to Whalers Village just a little bit quicker. Um, I mean, in terms of prestige, I mean, maybe Kaanapali Shores is hitting it, Danny, just because again, it doesn't have all
Maybe a bit
those
more.
other issues, et cetera. Yeah,
And the
just doesn't
beauty of
have
it
that
at the
big
end of the
issue.
day, Johnny, is everyone has their vision of what Maui looks like for them. I mean, just talking to a
That's
few
right.
clients yesterday, they're like, we absolutely want to be on the Pili Bay, nowhere else. So people tend to know their spots, but for those that may be a bit unfamiliar or a bit newer to the market, we just give you some of this insight. So let's move on to the
Well, the
next.
first thing we need, yeah, but the first thing we need to have an understanding is, Danny, is what they're looking to experience on Maui, right? Because somebody that doesn't like a hotel atmosphere, that's looking to get away from that, is going to be
True.
disappointed in one of these bigger complexes that we're talking about in general. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So
And one big
that's the
complex
most
to the
important
next.
thing.
Here you go.
There it is. And here we go, the old Grand Dam of the South Shore, Kamaole Sands. It is a gigantic complex that is zoned apartment. And we are looking at absolutely the trophy building, building number 10. So 5 building is a trophy building, the 1 building, the 10 building for various reasons. But dude, look at how the mighty have fallen, Danny.
Look at that.
And this guy wants to unload it, right? He's told the agent, hey, I want to sell it, but I want top dollar. They're like, okay, we're going to list for 1,150,000, but we're going to have to appeal that quickly. And here we are 90 days in, and we've dropped by what? Close to 300.
Just over 300,000, yeah.
But that's what it's taking to sell these days. They are shopping for somebody that either is going to take the risk. Maybe they have a legal background. They're like, nope, this is eminent domain. They're going to have to make me whole. I'm going to sue them. And while I sue them, I can still vacation rent it while the lawsuits are going on. Um, or this is going to make a great second home for somebody, but at 850 for a 1 bedroom, 2 bath, I think it needs to get down in the sevens to make sense as a second home, Danny.
I think so. And we're seeing that 90 days, 300,000. So
Move. Yep. There we go. So what we're looking at here, trophy building, 1 bedroom, 2 bath, fees there, 1230, across the street from Camp 3 Beach. Yeah, let's go on to the next one there, Danny.
there you go. Bear
Kamoa
with us, guys, if
views.
we figure out this new setup.
I love it, man. So Kamoa views, we're in Kalama neighborhood. If you ever taken a surf lesson at the Cove or smelled the marijuana from the parking lot at a Kalama Park, South Shore Gardens, food trucks, this is the area. Kamoa views is strictly residential. It's a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. A little bit larger, 593 square feet. You'll pay $604 a month for the maintenance fees. This one's had some nice updates, 2008, and we are looking at a beautiful view of Lanai right there, gang. Onward, Danny.
Let's go.
Right, Milo Court at Kealani, one of the 2 duplex style communities, right? There's only 2, yeah, Danny?
Yeah, I believe so.
Kaimana. Yep. So guys, just so you know here, we're just talking about owning 1/2 of the duplex here. So that's what we're looking at there. Boy, Danny, every time I'm looking at these new listings, man, we got our friends out of Kaimana right at the top of the market, it feels like, dude.
Absolute top of the
Right?
market. Nobody, look,
Yep.
they basically came on the market
At same
at
price.
where we set the pace, 965, so they came 960 and 68 days, now they're sub 900. So we went with a
And
specific
sadly,
pricing strategy and it was a
we
certain
did.
time of the market. So there is some
Yeah.
strategy to this. We didn't, try to go at the top and get more. We kind of listed a bit under where the market was to get multiple offers. So yeah,
These guys
repricing
started with a
strategy.
strategy. I feel it was, maybe when they listed it, it was more perceived market value is what that pricing strategy is. Come there where everybody was priced before. However, you can see, I mean, the market has definitely drifted lower.
The market has moved.
That's it. $87 for maintenance fee though. Not horrible. I mean, it's just common area maintenance there.
That's it.
Onward. That's what's up. And a little yard. Whew, Maui Park Shore, Danny. I mean, you've already got stuff in the eights, and people are coming out and pricing at the eights. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is Maui Park Shore. I was thinking about Park Shore in general. So this sits right in front of Kamole Sands, guys. Beautiful community, Maui Park Shore, but also zoned apartment. Um, I am seeing stuff in there much lower though, Danny. I want to say that there is some stuff priced here in the 800s, and I think that they're going to
Nice.
need to get in there to make sense as a second home. Or again, guys, some people are running the risk. They're coming in, they're maybe picking these up at a steal, come in right up in a low ball offer, and then they'll just deal with the potential, uncertainty of the Minatoya list. That is just a great picture there, Danny, though, of Kamaole 3 Beach in all of its glory, man. Great snorkeling. People get some bodyboarding done there too. Has lifeguards. There's a little parking lot, etc. It's a legit beach. And hey, it's Cam 3. So as you go north, you come to Cam 2 and then Cam 1 as well. So onward, Danny. Maintenance fees not bad at Maui Park Shore because it is across the street from the ocean there, $970.
Not bad.
That's easy living Maui style. Pohailani, Maui. So this is an interesting community because it's actually two communities. There is a hotel zoned section that are strictly studios that's on the ocean side of this community. And then Pohailani, the duplexes, these are duplexes, except they're one on top of each other. That was always zoned apartment, which is interesting. So for a long time, Pohailani, this apartment zone that we were looking at, were doing vacation rentals. And I want to say it was in 21, they got a letter from the county that said cease and desist. And that's because only the oceanfront Pohailani studios are considered hotel zoned. So this is strictly residential. There are still units that are being vacation rented because the owners are suing the county. But 649 just feels like an average price there, Danny. It is the bottom floor there, so no steps to deal with. But that just seems like perceived market pricing right there in a market that, yeah, dude, I surf with a buddy of mine, just a cool dude that's a massage therapist at like the Montage, and he is crying over that, dude. That's 2 grand. That's $24,000 that guy needs to make this year just to pay his fees.
And that doesn't cover the whole kit and caboodle, right?
Gorgeous community though, very, very lush, lots of garden areas, tennis courts, pools, the whole 9 yards. Walk us across the street to the ocean. We go next, Danny. That's how
Yeah,
you
there you
stash your
see
boards
some of
right
the
there too,
amenities.
guys.
There's the oceanfront area.
Huge amenities. Boom.
Beautiful.
Got a little community center over
Barbecue,
there.
pool.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Couple pools. Pohai. You know what's funny, Danny, is I worked with my buddy Dexter at Swan Court at the Hyatt back in the 90s, and he owned there, picked it up for 65,000 back when it was leasehold.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Here it is, Danny. A121, bro. Harbor Lights, man. So not the ocean side of Harbor Lights in the A building, so it has a garden view, but man, 199 definitely looks like it's had some updates, got the floors. I don't see AC, but you can always do the portable ones.
Sure can.
Man, fees 1,031 there. That seems light, huh? But no, it's got to be what they are.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think that includes the assessment as well.
Gotcha. Small assessment going on there too for
Very
reserves, if
small.
I'm remembering. Yeah.
Yeah, something like
All
130
right.
bucks or something a month. 199 though. There are
Cool.
a lot of units listed there now. 16, I think. Anywhere from kind of 185 for a one bedroom to 375 for a two. So we're seeing the whole range.
Lots of room there. Interesting thing about Harbor Lights, dude, it's never been a vacation rental property, but it is hotel zoned. There's some weirdness for you.
Kind of a trip. And that new hotel
Hale
going in town,
Kamaole.
what is that? Hilton? Hampton Inn? Something like that? Just around the corner in Kahului? You know which one I'm talking about?
You just cut out time there. You there, Danny?
Yeah, I'm there. I was just mentioning the hotel that they're building around the corner.
Alrighty, guys. Hale Kamaole. Okay, man. Yeah, that thing's looking fresh. Interesting thing for me, man, when we were holding opens for the one that we had listed, Harbor Front, it was interesting to me, but the Disney cruise ship comes over and moors there at the harbor. So they let
Hmm.
people out, and unfortunately no Lahaina, so they get to go hang out at Maui Mall and go eat at Whole Foods. Kind of a trip. So,
There you
dude,
go.
I gotta say though, man, $695 for a 1 bedroom, 1 bath at Hale Kamaole. Now we're starting to get back to making sense. This is on the Minatoya list. It is absolutely zoned apartment. It's across the same beach as Kamaole Sands, Camp 3 Beach. 695. So probably gonna leave some room for negotiation in there. Um, but starting to come down to earth, in my opinion. I haven't seen a 6 in front of a Hale Kamaole new listing in a long time.
It's been a
There it
while.
is, across the street from the ocean, right? Has its advantages. $804 for maintenance fees. So oceanfront living comes at a cost nowadays.
Sure does.
Good square footage, dude. Almost 800 feet. Yeah, next one, please. Waikapu Gardens, 1,150,000. Cute kitchen. I get why they started with that photo there. 1473 square feet, smaller lots there, 5563. This is the sweetheart of the market, though, in my opinion, man. I think it'll probably sell for a little bit less. I mean, that range there, maybe you come in, pick it up for the low millions. Maybe if you have cash, pick it up in the 900s.
Yeah, this is kind of the
But
perceived market
maybe
value right now. About
it is.
1,050,000, 1,000,001, 1,000,150 is kind of where things have been going, but
There's that sweet spot. Yep. Onward, Danny. Oh, nice updates 2023. So they did some new stuff there.
how do
Maybe
we say
that's
that
why they
one, Johnny?
priced
Is
where they
it
priced as well. It's
Iniki?
in, yeah, Niniki, Inini,
No.
because there's no Akina, yeah, the little
Ah,
comma up
true.
on top. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a
bruh.
trippy one.
Valley Isle Resort, 825 for a 2 bedroom, 2 bath. I bet you can get that cheaper. So here we are. This is where we were talking about, right? In terms of comparing to Kaanapali Shores. Here's the beach that we're talking about. And all of it right along in here. You can't see, but man, there's just a lot of big sandbags out there. And that's where
Not much
it is
beach.
hard to make the numbers pencil here, dude. I mean, you pick this thing up here. I've done the numbers with our buddy Kevin, who we're going to have on the show here, coming up later on this week. Cash purchase at Valley Isle right now, you would net 20 grand. So if you were going to finance and you wanted it to pay for itself, you need to put down enough money to where your payments just equal 20 grand for the year.
Roughly. And
That's
that's at
how
a
that
lower
would work.
purchase price than this.
Indeed.
But yeah,
But
2,900 a
just
month. Kind of rough.
that's what kills you right there. $36,000 a year just to pay for the fees. When that was $1,000 a year, that 24 went into your pocket, made more sense. Yep.
Sure did.
Onward. Interesting to see what happens coming up in May here. That's when they'll find out about their lawsuit with the old gym that was downstairs. Once that
Hmm.
gets lifted, Valley Isle Resort has some potential, man. What they're doing with that downstairs, all the potential retail space down there. Woo, Ponana Street, gotta be South Kihei, doorstep of Wailea for this kind of pricing here, Danny. Coming
Sure
out
is. Right
right
across
out
from
the
Keavakapu.
gates. That's what's up. That's why, guys. Keavakapu, one of the famous beaches here in Wailea. Also, incidentally, where one of the highest priced listings in all of Hawaii resides, 65 million. So that's why they're asking for over $1,000 a foot for here. We'll see if they get it. That's a gorgeous pool, though.
Nice spot.
Next, yeah, man.
Oh,
Yeah, let's onward. Beautiful entrance there, kind of Asian style. Kick this one to the curb here. These guys have been trying to sell this. I mean, he even went through the COVID time when crazy stuff was happening, didn't sell. 3.5 million. You're right there on Kuau area. This is right close to Mama's Fish House. In fact, it shares the same beach there. So it has some prestige, but nobody wanted to pay $3,000 or, 25,000, 2,500 bucks a foot or so for it. So not sure why this time they just decided after 86 days to put a bullet in it. To hit the history, Danny, I'm curious.
History.
Yes, sir. And I'm not sure if it was Josh that had it listed before. Yeah.
Sure was.
So maybe that's the problem is, you're trying to increase the price, but yeah, you started at 12.8 there because it was crazy COVID times. Nobody wanted it for 12. Nobody wanted it for 12. Nobody wanted it for 12. Nobody wanted it for 9,850. Kind of
Look at
interesting
this.
purchase, huh? Yeah. But you know what, dude? This is what a lot of wealthy people do, Danny. I mean, for speculation's sake, entrepreneurs, they'll buy something like this and then they'll just throw it out there and see what happens, dude.
Look at this.
And they'll just
Everyone's tried to
keep it
list
out
this
there.
thing.
That's it. All kinds of different prices all throughout the years. 2012, they had it listed for 12,000.
Yeah, this thing goes way back. Like 6 milli, 5 milli, 6 milli, 12 milli, 11, 6, 5, 4, down to 4 at some point. Then raised back up to
Everybody threw their
6,
name.
8.
Jeannie
Everybody's tried to sell
Dean.
this. This thing is not selling, or they don't actually want to sell it.
It's interesting, huh? Past that one. Oh, Mahana. Never touched the price. 366 days in. Those fees, man. 1784. Guys, Mahana just went through a huge facelift. The fees go away for the most part in 2027. They are negotiable though. So that's the thing. We can get that down for you. Just got to grind on the price a little bit with the seller. They break it down there for us. So here, scroll down to the realtor remarks there, Danny. So the actual fees, scroll down, I can't see. There you
That
go.
is the
So
actual.
what is it?
There we go.
1,031, add reserves of 417, utilities of 335, and then an additional 981. So 17 and change plus another 1,000, let's call it, right, Danny?
Yep. For 2 years.
All righty. So scroll back up. So that's what we're looking at. Add another 981 to that 1784. I'm a big fan of the Mahana, guys. If you want to live on a cruise ship or have that view, that's what it offers here. Has that little bit of barrier reef there, so it does retain a beach. There's a great surf spot out there called Rainbows and Hotels. I didn't tell you that. But the fees are making it difficult to make money at Mahana, that's for sure. Onward, Danny. And that is another classic example. I want to say Aston manages it as well, of a condo hotel. So, dude, Kauhali Makai, 1 bedroom, still selling, $695, 281 days in. I'm going to say that it's going to sell for less there. Kauhali Makai, though, is zoned apartment as well, but it's a well-loved community. No dangerous sea level rise there. It's set back quite a bit. Next. Kalamakai. So this one also zoned apartment. Is it strictly residential, Danny?
Yeah, this was that workforce housing project over by the
That's right,
Cove.
workforce housing. So coming in perceived market value pricing again, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, fees 1,034. It's in the Kalama neighborhood, very popular community, built for workforce housing there. So 850. Hit the history. Let's see what they picked it up back when it was workforce. Let's see if they stole it. These were selling the fours, I want to say back then, huh? There it is, Danny.
454, 850.
So this is what's weird about workforce housing, right? Is how it literally will just benefit one local family. And here it is. So local
It's almost
family comes
double.
in, how workforce housing works is here in Maui, if you're a developer and you're going to do a development, 50% of your development has to be done workforce housing. And you're going to take a loss on that part because the pricing is going to be based off of how much the buyer does not make compared to the median income. So the price is lower if they only make like 65% of the median for their family, et cetera. but
Yeah,
it just benefits them because then they go and sell it, they make a bunch of money, and then the next person pays market value for it. That's why it just doesn't make sense. And so now they're trying to come in workforce housing where they're just going to put in these curbs in the title to where you can't sell it and make a profit for X amount of years. I think that they should leasehold these workforce housing, Danny. I've said it before. That's how you control pricing and have it benefit the next people that come along, just like Hawaiian Homes. My
absolutely. Because
rant for
it
the
was
day.
pretty constraining on the requirements. I remember this because a lot of agents ended up buying this, like newer
Yeah,
agents in the business. Their parents basically gave them the money, and they're like, "Hey, we'll buy you a $400,000 condo because you're not making any money right now, so you don't show income." Uh, yeah, the restrictions were like 114,000 as like a couple or something like that. You had to be under
that's how
that,
they kinked it, buddy.
which on Maui is you can barely live on that, right?
Telling you. Pauwela Lighthouse Road. Wow. 2.5 million, picking up 82 acres there. Zoned agriculture. Very, very interesting. What they start the pricing off for this, Danny? 456 days ago.
3.5.
3.5. Dirt is still selling, man. Dirt is definitely still selling. So of course, guys, this is the North Shore. Pauwela is the Hawaiian name for the Jaws surf break there. So that's the scoop there. Peahi, I'm sorry. Pauwela is, what is Pauwela, Danny? That's one of the
I,
canneries, huh?
I
Sorry,
think
it's
so.
talking
Yeah.
gibberish there.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know for sure. We'll get back to you on
A
that
little bit
one.
of a rocky bay down there.
Pretty
Gotta be
spot. Look
some
at that.
surf, cause is that Maliko right there? Hit the map. Curious where this is. And forgive me. Sorry,
Let
guys.
me see.
Peahi is the Hawaiian name for Jaws.
There you go, map for you.
So there you go.
Kuiaha
No,
Bay.
so it's by Kuiaha Bay there. Yep.
Yeah.
Right
Nice.
on. Next one. There
Peahi
you go.
over that
Peahi
way.
Jaws surf break right there. That's it. The next big
Boom.
one
Last but
over.
not least.
Well, see if anybody sold. There we go. Finally sold something today. Maui Uplands in the Makawao upcountry area. 63 days in. I'm going to imagine they got close to that list price. Price it right, guys. People pick it up. This is a multi-generational home, man. This is what Hawaii looks for. Main house plus a 2 bedroom, 1 bath ohana. Boom. Managed by Associa Hawaii, though. So that tells me what is this a community with an HOA?
Interesting.
Indeed. How many acres is it on? Oh, 0.61, so about half an acre there.
Not a bad plot.
That's what we got there, gang. That's what we got. New little new little view. Oh man, that's a bigger house than it looks like, huh?
Sure is.
Hmm.
Sure is. So new little view. Stop the
Like it.
share.
Yeah.
Hey, we got through it without too many hiccups. That was a new
So
adventure.
here's one of the big things that I noticed though is because it's on yours, like when you lose internet or something, or like you'll watch when you watch it, there's several times where like we can't hear you anymore.
Just cuts out. Well,
And I don't know if that's the same when it's on mine as well. But just something to note. Like you get frozen a bit.
all
It
right, good
takes
to
the
know.
pressure off. Yeah. So I don't know if
Well,
that's the
thanks
same. Like if
thanks
we
for joining
freeze
us
something.
today, everybody. We appreciate you joining us on the Maui Hot List Hulahan. Until next time for the Aloha Friday episode. Aloha.
Oh,